Hi guys, welcome, and today I want to tell you more about my experiences with this dirty green baby. Well, green for obvious reasons because the car is green apart from orange, blue, grey, white and a bit of red vinyls. Baby because many people refer to it as a baby McLaren, or if we need to be more official, McLaren calls it the Sports Series, the entry-level cars of McLaren brand together with 540. This is the 570S. And dirty, well, that's the most important point of this whole video. The car is dirty, but for a reason. It's not a garage queen. In fact, the car currently has 8,000, if I'm correct, yeah, 8,660 kilometers. 5,000 of which are driven by me. So it's not a garage queen. And not only driven on the public roads, but also on the racetracks. With it drag racing with it. High-speed autobahn. So a lot and a lot of mileage in the various circumstances and environments. So because of that, I have a couple of things to say about it as an honest review. So let me get started with the outside. And well, if we're gonna talk about looks, I'll be honest with you. When they released this car the first time, I didn't find it ugly, but I found it strange because after the MP412C regarding the rear of the car, and it still had the same rear with 650S, 675 LT. It looked kind of strange, and it still kind of does look strange to me, and it still, well, the front also looks a bit strange to me, to be honest. But this is a personal matter of taste, so I'm not gonna talk too much about that, but still about a couple of important things in the front, and for that I'll need this key. So first of all, this over here in the front, the trunk, we can access easily, and I am very satisfied with the space. In fact, if you've been following my channel, I do daily vlogs, and last week we took this baby out for a trip to Italy, which was about 3,500 kilometers. And we went there with two people, me and a girl, and you know that girls carry a lot of stuff with them, and everything was able to fit inside this trunk. So I am pretty much satisfied with the space that this car offers. Just a reminder of how spacious the 570 actually is. Can fit the whole suitcase. 570S is officially approved as a holiday car for two people. So this is a positive about the front of the car. The negative, however, is, or actually are, those two things. The headlight. And the best thing to illustrate this is this following fragment that I shot during our trip. So, perfect example. Right now we're approaching a corner to the left, and only thanks to the signs that show it's like a corner to the left, and I also peeked at the GPS, I'm able to see something. But yeah, when I turn my high beams on, it gives us more visibility, but still not enough because they're not adaptive. They're not turning with us what they should be doing. So again, I turn them off, and we cannot see shit. At least I hope you cannot see shit. And yep, a very tight corner. And again, only thanks to the GPS I was able to see that there is a tight corner. It's really the lightning for the performance of the car, and the level of the spec of the car is probably one of the worst things, and again probably one of the worst lights I've ever experienced on cars in general, especially, well, very low field, and second of all, not adaptive headlights, so it is not turning left and right. So in short, I'm pretty much disappointed with the light performance that the car delivers, especially when you really need it on such a fast and agile car at night in a corner. So adaptive headlight would be the least possible upgrade that the car should have. Now, if we move to the back side of the car, let me start with the engine cover. Well, this is pretty much as you can see of the engine, and the reason I'm referring to that point is I understand that some supercar owners buy their supercars simply to show off. I mean, lots of other supercar manufacturers offer like clear, visible engine covers from fiberglass or whatnot. The only thing you can do here is there's a button here that shows something on the rear goes up. So if we push it, you're not gonna believe this. Oh, here we go. Here we go. So this is as much as you can do in terms of opening up the rear, fill in the oil and the coolant, and that's it. Maybe that can also function as a small spoiler, which is my next point. On the rear there is pretty much no downforce. And now again, if you've been following my channel for quite some time, my huge, like the largest critique about this car being a track-oriented car is the lack of downforce. There is this tiny little lip, which is, well, I don't even know if I can call it a lip for downforce, because the problem is going above 160 kilometers an hour, which is in pretty much no country in the world is legal apart from Germany, where we are at, makes the car very unstable and, yeah, I would say really dangerous. And if you also do the same speeds on a track, even lower speeds like 120, and you want to enter the corner with 120 kilometers an hour, you miss that downforce. Now, having complained to McLaren, they said, you know what, it's a German problem, because you have only in Germany unrestricted autobahns, and you have only in Germany the Nürburgring, where we are currently at right now, only 500 meters away from here, where you achieve those type of speeds. But, however, so far, up until this point, I've been nagging a lot about the lack of downforce. But, again, McLaren has created this car with a vision of having a light car, powerful car, and very agile car. And having driven this car for the last 3,000 plus kilometers on the twisty mountain roads through Italy, made me really appreciate this car, because it was very fast, very agile, the handling was superb and amazing on the mountain road. So this is exactly, I started to understand the reasoning of that car and agree with McLaren's vision. In fact, the lack of downforce makes sure that the car is very fast on the straights, meaning that, speaking of the earlier drag races that we did with it, this car beats its bigger brother 675 LT on the straight. Because 675 LT has lots of aerodynamics, passive and active aero, which slows it down on the straights but gives it huge advantage over this car. And the final thing, if I may refer to the rear, and the things I don't like about the rear. On the rear we have the exhaust. Sound-wise, I don't know, it's a turbo engine, so I am not expecting to think a lot about it. It's good, especially when you're inside the car and you're flooring it. The experience is freaking amazing. But what I'm about to show you is this rust. Looks like rust. Well, I'm not sure if it is something you should expect of a 250,000 euro supercar, but it's something I really do not like. Now, further moving into the interior of the car. First, let me start with the things that I do truly like and appreciate about this car. First of all is the minimalistic interior design. There is not much to it. It's, well, only the screen that you can actually turn off if you really would like to. So hop, and then it's gone. Also on the steering you don't have any buttons apart from pedal shift and the menu interaction lever over here, where you can access multiple menus once the car is on. So you need to turn it on again. Then you can access multiple parameters of the car. Yeah, the fuel is low, I know that. Thank you very much for reminding me. Raising the height, so with the lift system, or lowering it again, which is very practical, especially in Europe and especially in Holland, for example, but pretty much everywhere when you drive with a low supercar. Coming back to the points that I do like, again, the minimalist design and the storage space that you can have. So you have obviously the glove box, you have a couple of nets where you can put something in there, you have a couple of storage compartments in the doors, and I found out you can actually store the whole banana inside. We just found out about the amazing feature of the McLaren. Look at this, the banana box. Yeah. And here I'm not sure what to think of this, because this is a nice place where you could store quite some things, you would think, until you see that sign over there saying, no, please do not put your case, like anything on it, because it's actually, for some reason, well, it's not sturdy enough to carry anything heavy. So, but overall, I guess when you own such a car, you also have like a luggage car for groceries or whatever not. And like I mentioned previously, the trunk offers like really lots and lots of space. Now, moving on to another thing that I truly do like about this car. So for that, I need to turn on the multimedia system again. And so the air conditioning settings are very, very nice, because you can turn on or turn off every individual setting, individual component. It's very sensitive. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yep, so not many cars, supercars, hypercars offer that possibility, so I really like that. Now, something I don't like is the GPS, and the first time I ever used this car, so as a first timer, unless you have explanation, like detailed explanation of ownership by McLaren. So for example, let's say you are the first time owner. Where would you press to enter the GPS settings? Would you go, well, usually, intuitively, as a millennial, I would just press on the screen. Or is that the I, information? Oh, it's information of the traffic. Well, thanks a lot, I don't need that. So okay, let's press, well, somewhere to get the menu. Is this? Oh, okay, GPS. Is that the menu that I want? Hello? No, apparently not. So the reason for that is apparently you need to press this settings button that brings you to your destination, for example, and then you go, for example, to Italy, what we did, or to Nürburg, where we're currently right now. So let's say go to Italy. Oh, it's pre-selected. So let's go here, new route, and then it says, yeah, okay, go. Let me just one more time use the Italy setting, destination, Italy to Turin from Germany. The problem that I have with this route is that it does not offer multiple options. It just offers you one option, which thinks is the best according to your previous settings, which can be found here. And you can say like, hey, well, I don't want motorways, I don't want like period charge or a toll or like ferries, or I want the easy route. So you need to do that beforehand. It does not offer you, for example, what I had, like my experience with Italy. Again, you can find it in the previous vlogs. What I really disliked is the GPS took us from, well, while being in Germany, through France, and then entering Italy, which was like kind of, well, to be honest, pain in the ass, because first of all, it took us through city of, what was it, either Strasbourg or somewhere on the border, and then it took us through France, where we had to pay additional toll in France, and again going through the city. And it said like, yeah, this route is like 10 minutes shorter than the route would be through Germany, but that's not true, because in Germany you have unlimited autobahns, and I'd rather stay on one long motorway, even not going above speed limit, rather than saving probably what the GPS thinks 10 minutes and then going through all those hassle, going through the cities and so on. Or here, straight roundabout. So which turn should I take? First, second? Well, I presume I just have to go straight. But let's move on to the next point that I really do not like. Let's say you like music and you like to listen to music from your phone on your car. So where are you gonna go? To the media, right? Well, the only thing you have is the radio here and the aux, or you can go browse. So let's look for the phone. No, there is no phone. There's only audio settings. This doesn't make any sense. I want to connect my phone or iPod or whatever not. And speaking of the radio, I actually really don't like the reception of the car on average. Okay, now I'm gonna show you how you do connect your phone. So you go to your phone, of course. But I want to connect it. So where is the connect? Yeah, there's this settings button that you need to push, and then it shows Bluetooth. So then you connect to your phone, to any of it. Yeah, so now it's connected to my Samsung Galaxy S7, which I used to film this particular video. So let's say now we go again back to the media, because I want to use, oh, amazing, now it shows it here. Obviously, I cannot play my playlist and film this video at the same time, which is a bit inconvenient for this video, but the main problem with this, so for example, we have usually here the playlist, the music playlist that you use from your phone, and then you just quickly want to check the GPS, and yeah, well, you see the GPS and then you enter the motorway, it says like you need to keep on a couple of 100 kilometers straight, like 100 or something, so you want to access your playlist again, so what do now? Oh yeah, so you go back to the menu, back to the media, back to this, back to that, and it's like, it takes quite a while. And of course, well, there is a thing that you can do, and it's actually, you can keep this pressed, and then it shows most recent apps, and in this case now playing. But the problem is, if you're a first time user, it's not really intuitive. I mean, what would have cost McLAREN to add like one little button of music multimedia here? So it's not really convenient. Of course, maybe you may find me nagging, but it was really a big point of frustration quite sometimes, until I found out that you can actually, well, use the most recent app button, but still, again, the synchronization process is very, very, very slow to connect your phone. What you need to do every single time. Other than that, the system is pretty intuitive, and well, very little is there to be said. You can even use the voice command. Again, speaking of voice command.
Voice command, please.
Application. Application.
Application.
Navigation. Go to. Search. Watch. Go. Road. You see? So the only thing that you can use with
voice command, please.
Contacts.
Who do you want to call?
Mama.
Mama. Mobile. Call.
Yeah, well, let's not do that. Well, so you see, voice command, maybe again something I still don't know after 5,000 kilometers with the car, but the voice command is pretty useless because you cannot even operate your GPS. So this is something you need to do while standing still, because doing it while driving is not really safe. But overall, again, if we need to continue about the interior, I like the amount of USB ports it has, aux port, and also, oh wow, oh no, fuel level is low. Thanks for reminding me while we are standing still. I could also see that myself. I guess now it's time to proceed with a final verdict. What do I have to say about this car? Well, you heard me talking about positives and the negatives about the car, but what's the conclusion? If you're looking for an average day-to-day sports car, supercar, this is definitely one of the best cars I've ever driven in terms of handling and performance as well. The acceleration, especially when you use the launch control or not, is phenomenal. The response from the gearbox when you have it in active mode, and the powertrain, and the handling in track mode, ESC off or in dynamic, it's simply amazing. I can go on for hours. It's one of really, handling wise, it's one of the best cars ever driven, until you reach certain speeds, whether it's on autobahn, on the racetrack, where you really do need the downforce to make the thing safe. But if you just have it as a holiday car and you want to go through the country roads, mountain passes, it's definitely amazing. However, again, there are some still small points, really small points, that make me nag about a lot. If you want to use this car as a holiday car, make sure first of all not to get this car not with the bucket seats, but with the GT seats, because the bucket seats, well, after my 3,000 kilometer trip through Italy, I did had some, well, I wouldn't say back injury, but my lower back was pretty much hurting. So, but then again, not many people do like 3,000 kilometers in 4 days. Most importantly, the lighting. The headlights, they are like really terrible in lights, in night environment. Those are, yeah, I hate to sound really negative, but it's like probably one of the poorest performance, especially on a supercar, that I've seen. And just having slightly wider angle of headlights and having adaptive headlights for, again, those mountain passes that you would love to drive, or the country roads, would make things not only better, it makes the things safe because you see things, and again safe because your eyes do not get tired during driving, and that's the issue that I really had. Space wise, amazing car. Handling, I already said, amazing. The rusty exhaust, I'm pretty sure you could put stainless steel there instead of, I don't know, what the casual steel that you've used, or titanium if you, well, talking supercars. Multimedia, just add another button and save the hassle for people and make the connectivity a bit better. But again, I mean, I hope, I haven't driven the 720S yet, but I hope they did solve the issue. Final remark, what I personally don't think should be an issue with this type of car, but a lot of people do want to know about the fuel consumption. This car has a tank, I believe, with a capacity of 70 liters. And you could actually, if you use cruise control and do not exceed speed limit, you can reach about 700 kilometers. So you could actually really do reach like 1 on 10 in kilometers, 1 liter per 10 kilometers. I even had once showing a 900 kilometers range when I was driving through Switzerland, and you had the 80 kilometer an hour speed limit for quite some time. I've been driving like for the last hour about 80 kilometers on cruise control. You can also see that the range is almost 1,000 kilometers. It's dropping right now because the last, like, I don't know, 5 kilometers we did 120, but in reality roughly 300 kilometers range when you drive through the city and combined, so that means 1 on 5. Yeah, well, this is pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this honest review, and again, if you're new, subscribe, like, share, and stay tuned for more daily content around Nürburgring. Thanks, bye.